Today on the Transplant Helper, we're going to be talking about the measles outbreak, the anti-vaxxer movement, as well as a very important thing you need to know if you're a post-transplant patient and you're facing the potential of maybe catching one of these supposedly eradicated diseases and how much you are at risk, maybe more than you even understand.
Hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community.
Hey folks, welcome to the Transplant Helper today. My name is Jim Merle. Today we're talking about a few subjects that could be somewhat controversial, one being the anti-vaxxer movement. In addition to that, what we're calling the measles outbreak right now and how that's really going to affect you. If you'll stick around to the very end of this particularly, I'm going to share with you something I just came across, a fact I just found out that really may put you and I at more risk than we actually think. Now with that being said, what in the world is an anti-vaxxer? Well, if you've been in a hole very long, never turned on the evening news, you probably have no idea, but basically that is just a person who decides in themselves as a personal choice that they should not be getting vaccinated. None of the childhood vaccines, none of the adult vaccines like the flu shot, the pneumonia, the shingles shot, they're probably going to avoid most, if not all of those, in the name of the fact that they claim and they believe that they cause certain type of diseases. For example, they believe childhood autism is caused by vaccinations, at least some additives in those vaccinations. Now, I'm not here today at all to argue with them, to try to decide with you if that's the case, if that actually happens or not. I think statistically and medically, it's not been proven yet, so you have to be careful with that. So if you want to make a decision and become an anti-vaxxer, someone who chooses not to vaccinate yourself or your children, you have the liberty to do that. Just be sure that you're looking for good, reliable resources to get your information from. And please don't be just influenced by maybe what your neighbor says. You know, we live in a very social society, at least as far as, everybody seems to know something about someone, and everybody's able, because of social media, to share their own opinion and sometimes to share that opinion as fact. We need to be careful not to take that all as fact and not to be influenced so much by what occurs in someone else's life if we've not dealt with that, okay? And with that being said, if you're a person who has themselves or a child or whatever, a family member has had a vaccine and it did cause some ill effects, something like, and it can, they say on the paper, something like anaphylactic shock can occur, something like seizures, that sort of thing. If something has literally occurred in the moment as a result of directly taking a vaccination and you choose not to do that anymore, more power to you. I can understand that. If my child had an adverse reaction, say in the doctor's office from an injection, we ain't going back for the booster next time, okay? And we're really going to be researching and digging, trying to decide if we want to go that route anymore. But let me say this and really think about this. If you decide because your child or your family member had a reaction to a vaccine that you're not going to take that, that is your choice. And it's not mine, okay? So I'm not pushing you to get the vaccine. Don't push me not to get the vaccine, okay? But keep in mind that if your child did have the reaction or your family member did have a problem, probably the best defense you now have against whatever disease that was supposedly fighting or stopping, probably your best defense is to have the rest of the world to be vaccinated, okay? If I cannot, for example, take the flu shot, what I need is for the rest of the world to take the flu shot. Okay? So it's not in my best interest to get out on the street corners marching with a sign and tell you not to take a flu shot or encourage you not to take a flu shot when that's the very thing I cannot take. Maybe it's been proven by a reaction. I can't take it. I need you to. Okay? I don't want you to get hurt, but I need you to do for me what I cannot do. And that goes a lot of times for the immunosuppressed, cancer patients, transplant patients, people who have immune deficiency diseases. They need all of the rest of the public to get these vaccinations, to have these injections to prevent us all from getting sick, okay? And I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm telling you the truth. If you watch the news at all, even the CDC and places like Mayo Clinic have come out now and said our current measles outbreak, it's not pandemic, it's not epidemic, but the outbreak that's occurring, that's spreading across the country, where now I think there are cases being brought up in nearly all 50 states, They say that is connected to those who have chosen not to vaccinate. Therefore, this disease, like measles, could be mumps, rubella, whooping cough, polio, any of those diseases that have been eradicated, supposedly, not completely, but for the most part eradicated for the last few decades, they're coming back now because people aren't being vaccinated, and we're putting other people at risk. So make sure that's your choice. You get good information. Make sure you don't push that choice on someone else. And then in turn, please do me a favor. If I can't do it, or if you can't do it, hope everybody else will, so that we can all be protected together. Now, with that said, I said at the beginning of this, if you're a transplant patient, there's a real risk here that you need to be aware of, and it goes farther than just the risk that you're immunosuppressed, okay? When you're immunosuppressed, you're at a higher risk or potential for catching the common colds, the flus, the viruses, all this stuff that's going around, the measles outbreak. You're at a higher risk for that because your immune system within itself doesn't have the ability to fight like everyone else's. So something that wouldn't hurt anybody else or wouldn't even infect them to begin with, you may get it, and it may be much worse for you because of that lack of the immune system and such. But here's something I stumbled across, I wanted to share with you, and I want to encourage you. I am not a medical doctor, okay? I am not a medical doctor. Got it? I, Jim Burrell, am not a medical doctor, so do not take this as medical advice. Take this as advice from a friend. You need to go talk to your team right now. If you're a post-transplant patient, based on what's going on, based on the anti-vaccination movement, based on the measles outbreaks, you need to go sit down and talk to your team right now and ask them what type of risk you're really at. Because, particularly, if you're a patient who has dealt with post-transplant rejection and you have been given IVIG and or plasmapheresis treatments to try to stop or prevent that rejection, because of the way those two treatments, particularly IVIG, works in that they basically pull your immune system, clean it up, wash it up, put it back in, or replace your immune system with basically a homemade, handmade immunosystem to keep you from going into rejection. You're getting an immune system put in you, whether it's been cleaned or replaced, that has not necessarily had all those vaccines in its past. Now, I realize I'm making this dumbed down because I have to understand it myself, but basically, if you've had IVIG or plasmapheresis treatments or the combination of the two, the injections you had as a child right now may not be of any effect. They may be gone. You may be washed of those childhood injections, so you may need something to happen. I don't know if it's a booster, if it's a secondary, or pretend it's the first time ever. You're getting your shots just like any other child. I don't know what you need to do, but I know you need to talk to your team about it. I know you need to find out if you're at risk, if that's something that's happened in your life, and be sure that you can cover yourself, okay? Cover yourself. That's what you need to do. Now, there'll be some things that you won't be able to get an injection on them because now you can't be exposed to a live virus, and because live viruses are only types of certain vaccinations you can get, maybe you can't get it, and that's just going to be hard for us. But the things that you can get, the flu shot is just one example that you can get if you've had IVIG, plasmapheresis, and that flu shot's no longer in effect, or the pneumonia shot, or the shingles vaccine, or whatever. If you feel like you need that and the doctors were willing to give that to you, you need to check into it, okay? Just something to come up I hadn't thought about, that when our immune systems are cleansed, replaced, whatever, we're almost starting fresh. And that's a good thing. That may be preventing the rejection and saving your life, but at the same time, that could be putting you at risk. And particularly right now, when we've got so many people who are refusing to be vaccinated, refusing to protect themselves, they're in essence, to a point, refusing to protect us. And we have to be cautious, okay? We have to be cautious. So hands down overall, call your team, talk to them about this, see if it's a potential for you, and see what needs, if anything, to be done. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this video helped you out in any way whatsoever, a big thumbs up is definitely appreciated. If you'd like to comment below the video, you're more than welcome to do that. Be kind, be nice, comment below the video, share your experiences, tell us what you've been through. And, what are you doing? How are you going to plan to protect yourself in light of what's going on around us with this measles outbreak, for example? Also, there'll be some videos popping up right around here sometime now or right around now. Check out some of the videos. You're already on YouTube. Perfect time to keep clicking, right? So check out some of the videos. Hopefully they'll help you out in some way. And there's usually a round circle somewhere over here-ish that you can click and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be a part of this community. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, stay stronger, friends.